What's going on, guys? It's LA Sports back with another stream. I did one a couple days ago, I believe on Wednesday, and it went pretty well. So I decided to do it again. I had a fun time with you guys on the stream. Met some new people, including this guy right here, Salman. Thank you so much for being the first guy in the chat. I really appreciate it. Al Smith, as always. Thank you so much for being here. But I wanted to briefly talk. There's been a lot of things that have gone down on, I'm not going to say the Leafs, but 3 of the 4 major teams that I cover on this channel. The Blue Jays, they made that big Randall Grichuk trade. They made that nice, well, it was a good trade. As well as, that was for the Blue Jays. As for the Raptors, they had a huge win against the Cleveland Cavaliers that ties them for 6th in the conference. So if we jump one more spot on them, we would go in outside of that play-in into the playoffs, into the top 6. And then for the New York Giants, rumors came out today. There's been a lot of rumors, as there always are this time of year, but apparently the Giants are shopping one of their first-round picks. I want to just touch on that a little bit in the stream, answer some questions you guys may have. Nice Grichuk trade. Yeah, it was a pretty good trade. We get that left-handed bat we need, and I think that kind of dims down our chances on getting a Gardner or a Conforto. We probably won't end up getting one of them, but now I think we still need to kind of add something, because at the end of the day, you still need to find like a DH, a depth guy. We have Santiago Espinal for the infield. For the outfield, you have Ramil Tapia. You have a couple catchers, but another piece probably to that outfield would be pretty good. And even the infield, if you can find one. But we still got some pieces in the minors that we can definitely bring up and down if we need that, if that's the case. But anyone new in here, please like the stream, subscribe to the channel. We're at 436 subscribers. I appreciate everyone for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate all the subscribers, as always. And comment down below in the chat any questions you guys have, whether it's sports related, life related, anything you guys want to talk about, leave it down below. Taking a look around the NBA right now, some scores. Golden State putting up 50 in just under 15 minutes of action on the Atlanta Hawks. They're up by 11. The Hornets are up 3 on the Jazz. The Wizards are up 16 on the Pistons. The Mavericks and T-Wolves just started. The Knicks and Heat just started. Al Smith says, Rangers off to a good start. I'm watching. Yeah, you're a big Ranger fan. I saw they scored 3 goals in less than 5 minutes. They're now 4-0 on the Pittsburgh Penguins, so a hot start for them. Chris Kreider's got 2 goals. Lafreniere's got a goal, and the newly acquired Frank Petrano, he's got a goal. So that's probably the best game on the schedule tonight around the NHL. Yeah, definitely is, because the other ones are kind of, it's a good team and a bad team. No Malkin for the Penguins tonight, but nice game there, but looking like it's going to be over before it started kind of game. Are already halfway through. It's already a wipeout. But your Rangers are definitely they made some nice moves at the deadline. I like that move for Mott. You didn't have to give up really anything, a 4th-round pick. So that was a really, really low risk, and you're going to get reward with that. So it was a nice trade for you guys. And I think you guys, if you guys get hot at the right time, you can without a doubt, you can make some noise in the playoffs. And with that goaltender there, you got Shesterkin. Yeah, you guys can definitely make a run. Yeah, I agree on the Mott trade. Very nice. Yeah, it was nice. It makes sense for you guys. And fourth round pick is nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's not like football. Fourth round pick is, a mid rounder is a pretty decent trade. It's like a pretty decent asset. It's probably like a late second rounder in the NHL. But a fourth rounder is essentially a seventh in the NFL. So it's a nice trade for the Rangers. You guys made a couple nice moves. Even the Vetrano move, I think, was really underlooked. I think, really overlooked. No one really talked about that. He already scored for you guys, so it seems like it's working out. And like I said, Shesterkin, he's another animal. That guy, he can he'd steal you some games without a doubt, no question. Any new viewers, please comment down below in the chat. Ask anything you guys want. Leave a like, subscribe, the usual. Make a ton of content on the channel, sports related. The main teams we cover: the Giants, the Raptors, the Leafs, and the Blue Jays. But we cover any big move around any of the four major sports leagues. Got a couple soccer videos on the channel. So if you're a soccer fan, check those out. But just wanted to go live and talk quickly for about an hour or 90 minutes. There's been a lot to talk about. We're approaching the NFL draft. We're approaching the playoffs for the NHL and the NBA. And we're approaching opening day in the MLB, so it should be exciting. I appreciate everyone for being here. Al Smith, as usual. You're always in there. Appreciate you. Any new viewers, smash the like button. Hit that subscribe. Let me know if you're in the chat. Comment down below, ask a question, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll get to it. 10 minutes in. Appreciate everyone for being here. If you guys want, let me know down below in the chat if you guys would want to do a mock draft for the NFL somewhere in the stream. I'm going to get a special guest on the channel. Just reached out to him. Classified 3F with Joel. He is another content creator. He's a great content creator. Love working with him. Very cool guy. So let me just send him the link, and then he should be in here any second. We could probably do some mock drafts, whether it's Giants related or whether it's Giants related or NFL related. Just sent him the link, so he should get any second. And then he should be on. He's always active. I think they do streams a lot. Him, Big Pat Sports Talk, as well as G Nation Lou. Saul, man, thank you so much for being back in. Leave all the comments, leave all the questions down below. Al Smith, yeah, we will definitely get to some as soon as Joel gets in here. We'll do some mock drafts. Whether that's Giants, whether that's NFL related, we'll get to that. Always have a good time talking with Joel. He knows his stuff. Classified 3F with Joel. Al, let me know what you would rather do. Would you rather do a Giants mock draft or a NFL related mock draft, or both? I'm obviously gonna still have my mock drafts up on the channel, the videos, because it's that time of year. There's always a lot of speculation, and everyone obviously always watches those videos because on YouTube this time of year for football, it's all about speculation. So, all right, we'll do both. As soon as Joel gets in here, I'll pop him on, and then we'll do some mocks. So that should be fun. What's going on, gang time? The Malik Willis at 2 hype has started by the mainstream media recently, and it's getting bigger. It's a lock. I had him at 1 to 3 cents last year for 22, and always advocated for Lions to take him. Yeah, he's really moving up the draft boards. And honestly, I don't really agree with the way the media works, because after pro days, they just hype everybody up. Malik Willis is throwing football. Don't get me wrong. That 68, 70-yard throw, whatever it was, that was a bomb. He threw it on a dime. That was a great throw, but people got to calm down, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have 300-pound men running at him. He doesn't have shoulder pads on. He has no fear of getting hit, anything. He's just going up there and he's throwing the football. So if you're an NFL quarterback, you should be making that throw. That's the bottom line. So I don't understand. And game time, you called it, and I have a feeling that might happen. I really do. I think that might happen. What's going on, NYG31? Thank you so much for joining the stream. If you're new to the channel, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe. We're going to have Classified 3F with Joel on the channel. We're going to do some mock drafts for the NFL. But yeah, I would not be surprised if he goes 2 overall, gang time. I just don't understand why all the hype comes at the pro days. I really don't. I think he very well could go second overall, though, and we'll be doing a mock, and we'll see where we end up having him going. Panthers Central, thanks so much for joining. We're going to have a guest on here. NYG31, you're new to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. I make a ton of Giants content. I make a ton of Giants, Raptors, Maple Leafs, and Blue Jays content on the channel. Mock drafts, Giants-related mock drafts, NFL-related mock drafts, weekly videos on the Giants, daily videos during the football season. I appreciate that. I make a ton of content, so it's always a fun time. But back to Gang Time's point, Panther Central saying hello. Back to Gang Time's point, yeah. I mean, Malik Willis could very well go second overall. I wouldn't be surprised at this point because he's really moving up mock drafts. I wouldn't be surprised if someone trades into the top 5 to get him if the Lions don't take him. I just don't know why the hype comes now. And I think he should be making those throws. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. As a Giants fan, I do not want him. I would wait next year to get my quarterback if Daniel Jones isn't the guy. You take a look at next year's class. You got C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. You got some serious quarterbacks in that class. So it's obviously I would wait as a Giants fan. I'm waiting. But Classified 3F with Joel, he will be here on the channel. He's got a channel of his own, so check him out if you haven't already seen him. He does a lot of Giants content there. He gets they do a lot of streams. It's Big Blue Crew. I don't know why either he's not top 10. Yeah, I don't think Malik Willis is that great of a quarterback. He, in my opinion, is the best one of this draft class, but I just think I know that this is a weak quarterback draft class. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to say that. And I don't like the point that people make that, oh, he goes to Liberty and that's a bad school. You can't take a quarterback out of there. That's not really true. There's at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the school you go to. If you're a good quarterback, you're a good quarterback. I just don't see it in Malik Willis. I think these throws at the pro day he's making, like I think the pro day is just an overhyped event to begin with. And now we got Joel on.
Gentlemen,
Joel.
That's good.
Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate that.
Oh man, no problem. I see you in my streams all the time, man.
Yeah, it's we're gonna have a good time. I wanted to maybe do some mock drafts for the Giants on here. You guys, Big Blue Crew, you guys are up to something over there. So you guys are doing great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just having fun, man. That's all it is over there. Pat and Lou. I mean, those guys just come with an energy and a fire. And, even after the streams, we're still talking for an hour or two each night on where to go, the directions, the ideas that chat's given us.
Yep.
Trying to make sure that we're doing everything that people are going to spend time out of their day to come and watch us. And I can't believe the fan base or the subscribers that we have already. And I've only been doing this 8 months.
Yeah, it's been great. You guys got a really good audience. I like what you guys are doing. Panther Central says we're getting Willis. Gang Time says, yeah, it makes sense for the Lions. As I said a couple days ago, they won't get a quarterback in the 23 draft and need that upside quarterback, which is what the NFL is in. The Mahomes, Lamar, Watson, Allen.
Right.
And NYG31 says, I think Kenny Pickett is better than any quarterback in the class. Panther Central, I don't know. I think you guys either get Charles Cross or you go quarterback. I think that's the direction you guys are headed, but who knows? Gang Time says, and I have Willis and Lance, as you know, over anyone in 2021, 2022, and 2023 drafts. Their upside is the biggest I've seen in top-tier prospects with the Watson, Lamars, Mahomes, and Allens. And he hopes that Panther Central's Carolina Panthers go quarterback. I hope so, too. I mean, that would be good for the Giants. And if the world knows they're going quarterback, that would make that number 5 pick much more valuable to trade back, because a team like the Falcons would try and get that quarterback before the Panthers could.
Right. I love this time of year because the smoke screens that are coming up.
Oh, it's amazing.
This team saying, yeah, well, we're going to let this slip out that we might be interested in this guy. And then that starts everything and gets all the fan bases worked up. I love it because Detroit came out and said, you know what, we might take Willis at 2. Right now, is the way things are standing, Detroit's the wild card.
Yeah. It's interesting what they do. And I think it all depends on, I think it really depends on what Jacksonville does. I'm leaning now that they franchise tag Cam Robinson, that they won't go Evan Neal. But I mean, a franchise tag is a 1-year move. So
right.
I don't think you absolutely rule the fact that they don't take a tackle out. Like at the end of the day, they need to protect Trevor Lawrence for the next 10 to 15 years. So I mean, if they really like Evan Neal and they think he can be the guy for 10 years, and I'm Jacksonville, I don't let the fact that I franchise tag Cam Robinson take me away from drafting that all-time franchise left tackle or right tackle wherever they play.
Bill Parcells did it when he went to Miami. What was the first player he drafted? Left tackle out of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill Parcells, one of the best football coaches to ever walk on the field. If he knew it going to a different team, he's got to shore up that left side. You shore up that left side. You shore up that right side.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got Trevor Lawrence that's getting killed right now, because this draft is just so deep at like every position.
Yep.
Linebackers deep.
Except for quarterback.
Yes. That's the only thing that's really throwing a monkey wrench into this whole draft scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter who you talk to. Usually there's a clear-cut number 1 prospect. This year there isn't.
Yep. You take a look at the last few draft classes. I think we knew months before who was going to go number 1 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, we knew for years that it was going to be Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
We knew for a while that it was going to be Burrow.
Then it was going to be Tua for a while until he got hurt.
Well, yeah, until he got hurt, but that's what I'm saying. Months for
right.
Lawrence, for Trevor Lawrence, we knew that he was number 1 forever. It seemed. I mean,
right.
that's just the way that went. But Gang Time says, don't forget the 2017 NFL draft was considered a weak quarterback class and has 2 of the best quarterbacks. 2018 was the most hyped class in a while. Baker, Jones, Rosen are bust or mid. The 2 most scrutinized 18 are MVPs. Yeah. The 2018 quarterback class was not very good. But I think 2018 was Darnold, not Jones. Jones was 2019, I believe. But yeah, I got the point there. All I know is Matt Rule better not screw this up for us. So you guys are in a tough spot because Matt Rule knows that his job's on the line. So he's going to be ultra aggressive. And for your franchise where it currently stands, I don't think that makes the most sense right now. I think you should kind of take a conservative approach, and he's going to go hard in the draft. He's going to really, really take it hard. So we'll see how that goes.
Man, we got a Panthers fan in here. Let's talk Panthers football for a minute. Look at all these teams that went out free agency and Carson Wentz. Did you guys see him going to Washington? Did you guys see Baker Mayfield getting released and nobody wants him? Seattle trading away Russell Wilson.
Yeah, there's a lot we see happening in it happening.
Exactly. These teams that are struggling, that are built, that need a quarterback, know they got to make a move. The Panthers, they were 3-0 to begin with, and then they went on a decline because C-Mac went out. And then, that shows how important of a running game that Darnold needs. He's got to have that star running back to get there, so he can do the play action. Or
Darnold
the linebackers.
Needs a perfect situation to succeed.
Right. So looking at that, it's like, okay, what do we do from here? And all realistically, what's out there now? Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Rule has a lot of pressure on him right now. We know that none of these quarterbacks are going to be a day 1 starter. Yep. So does Rule know that this is like the end of his tenure with, even though they got another 5 years on his contract? He signed a long contract.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be in debt to his contract. You're still searching for a quarterback, but you had a damn good defense, so you got something there to build on. So if you're Carolina, would you want to take a chance and maybe sit Pickett or Wills for 8-9 games and then let him come out? Because that's going to have to happen. Any of these quarterbacks, you're going to have to sit them for 8-9 games.
Yeah. Well, their defense has taken a step back because they lost some key pieces in free agency.
They did. But last year when they were there, I mean, my God, that defense is what was keeping them in games. Like us. Yeah. So, what do you do as a Carolina Panthers? As a Panthers fan, would he want them to wait and go next year with a quarterback, but do what we want as Giants fans, build the O-line, build the team around it, and when you get your guy the following year?
Yep. NYG31 says, I know the Giants are Icom from NC State. Yeah, yep. I love him. I would love him.
My number one lineman.
Yeah. Jags just franchised Cam Robertson, so I think they picking Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, that's where the mocks are headed right now, but you never know until draft night.
Right.
Fields, some had him over Lawrence. Darnold, Jets. Yep. We probably could have had Watson, but we didn't have the money. I don't think Watson wanted to play there. I mean, from what it sounded like, that was not his choice.
Man, I honestly don't know. I think he just threw himself out there in a bidding war, to be honest with you, and who's going to guarantee him the most money. He went there. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him.
Yep.
The way he's had everything in Texans, he's like, at least I'm going to get my bag.
Mm-hmm. Money talks.
Right.
Without a doubt. Baker got waived. They were still trying to trade him. We are waiting for a Jimmy G trade. Yeah.
Yep.
Jimmy G is going to get traded in the next couple weeks, I would think.
Well, it all depends on remember, he had that surgery.
Yeah.
So he's coming off the injury. So they're not sure how he's going to be for week 1 of, camp. So that's the question behind him.
I don't think San Fran has him on the roster at the start of the season, and I can't see them just cutting him. I would think they just take anything for him. And if you're a team like the Panthers, I mean, Matt Rule's going to be aggressive. You know that, because he needs to do something this season. You need to see something out of Matt Rule if you're the Panthers in order to keep him. So he knows that, and he knows he's got to go hard in free agency and in the trade market. So we'll see how that plays out. Panthers Central says, I could wait till next year for a quarterback. Bryce Young and CJ Stroud will be available, so that's good. They're going to be available, but everyone's going to want them. Anybody looking for a quarterback is going to want those two guys.
There's 7 teams.
And it's I don't think there's going to be that many compared to a year like last season.
Well,
because just thinking off the top of my head, who might be in the market for a quarterback next year? The Giants, the Panthers, the Falcons,
the football team could, because if they don't take Wentz,
possibly Washington, possibly the Colts, because Matt Ryan's not a long-term answer.
Right. And the Steelers, they're a wild card.
Yeah.
The Browns. Well, no, the Browns just got him. I was thinking Baker Mayfield.
That's why I think those 6 teams.
The 6? I mean, is Miami going to look for one? Does Tua make it this year?
That's an interesting one. I think Tua is going to be good this year. It's hard to not produce
when you got 2 of the best wide receiver, the fastest wide receivers in the NFL.
I mean, are you kidding? He's just got to get those. If you get the ball to those guys in space,
right?
That's it. That's all he needs to do. He has to just step back. He needs to just calm down and just. His job this year is going to be. I don't want to say.
Could the Saints be looking for a quarterback next year?
That's another team. Yeah, that's the.
So
other
that's
team.
7 guys. 7. I mean,
7. You were
every
banging
year
on with 7, and potentially the Eagles.
Yes, but there's 8.
Jalen Hurts is just terrible. I just don't think the Eagles are going to be. I don't think the Eagles are going to be in a spot like I don't think they're going to have a top 7 or 8 pick. They're probably going to be right around the 12, 13 range.
Right.
Knowing them, they just win useless games. I can't see them making the playoffs again. I think that was a fluke of a year for them. They did improve, though. They did improve. They're going to improve through the draft.
Yep.
I mean, the NFC's much weaker than it was last year. The AFC, my God. I mean, how do you pick who's going to make the playoffs there?
Man, I said this on our stream. How does it feel to be a Jets fan right now, a Dolphins fan, even though your team's making moves?
Even a Ravens fan, like
yes,
the Ravens, the Browns, you just guaranteed a quarterback $200 plus $1 million, and you might not even make the playoffs. That
12 teams, 5 of them are not going to make it.
Yep.
With winning records of 11-6.
I mean, just stepping back and thinking about it this way, there's 3. Let me pull it up. There's 2 teams for sure I can't see making the playoffs in the AFC.
Brown Steelers?
No. In the entire AFC, that's the Jets. And
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the Jets and the Texans. Other than that, I mean, and maybe the Jaguars, but they spent, so you don't know what that's going to be like with Doug Peterson there.
New coach, new staff. And not only that, everything that's come out about Urban Meyer and the way he deducted that team last year.
Yeah,
they got to start from the ground up because those guys' attitudes are shot.
Yeah, so there's only 2 bottom tier teams in the AFC. I mean, how? It's crazy. The AFC is stacked. I mean, because the AFC West, those teams, all 4 teams are going to have a winning record there. If Mitchell Trubisky is half decent, the Steelers will have a winning record because, I mean, with that defense and their head coach,
Mike Tomlin, yes.
I mean, they're never bad. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. You can never, ever rule out the Steelers. I mean,
right.
You take a look at the offensive line they had last year with the quarterback they had. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was one of the most immobile quarterbacks in the NFL, and they still had a winning record. They made it to the playoffs. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's why Brady come back, though. He's in the NFC. Who does he have to compete against? Aaron Rodgers. That's it.
Well, and now we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to be without Devontae Adams. He doesn't. Right. And he lost Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He doesn't even have – he has like a wide receiver 3. Who's his top wide receiver there?
Right.
I mean, they're going to draft one without a doubt. You know, we'll see who they get. I really like Sky Moore out of the draft. I think he's going to be good in the NFL. He's going to be like that speedster wide receiver. If I'm looking for a wide receiver in the second round, he's the guy I'm going after.
There's so many good wide receivers coming out in this class too that are going to be there in the 3rd, 4th rounds. You're starting to see some of them move up the depth chart. I mean, they weren't even in the top 100. Now they're in the top 50, the top 40.
Yep.
Second round selections. So, I mean, when somebody like that pops up, somebody else falls. And
you take a look at Chris Olave. I mean, how high he climbed in after the combine. It was crazy. It's crazy.
I'd love to have him. Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but if as a Giants fan, if we're going to take a receiver, because Olave's not getting to the second round, and I don't think it's a smart idea for us to take a wide receiver in the second round unless we have like a late second round pick because of a trade back.
Right.
But realistically, thinking of what range we could get a receiver, if I'm a Giants fan thinking about a receiver who I would want, it's Sky Moore. That's who I target. I mean, he's a small speedster. And I think Dable could really, get him involved in the offense.
Yeah, but we've got Shepard and Tony already.
But we don't know what Shepard's going to be.
I know.
Right?
I want a number 1.
I wouldn't be surprised if Slayton is not on the team next year because of what you could save if you decide to cut him or trade him.
I want that true number one wide receiver for this team that we got for the next 4 years. That the rookie, if we draft a quarterback next year, he comes in and this guy's all set and can help the quarterback.
Yeah.
If we draft an O lineman with our first pick, I really don't think fans are going to get too upset if we trade down or who we take with the second.
I think we should trade down with one of our picks because you just see the reward.
If we get
yeah.
If, that's the thing. I don't want to just take it down for, a biscuit when we deserve caviar.
No, yeah, you would need a future first.
Right.
Or, if I'm not getting a future first, I'm not trading back. Unless it's like you're moving back 2 slots, then I'd be fine with a second rounder. But if you're moving down 5 or more spots, you would have to get it first.
Yes.
Yeah. But Panther Central says, who do y'all think makes the playoffs in the AFC? You go ahead first, Joel. Who do you think?
You can't take the Chiefs out because the Chiefs are in it every year. I'm going to run with the Bills, too. The Bills were impressive. Not going to lie. They had a couple 2-3 game stretch there where they struggled, but got it together and then showed what they can do in championship football. They're building this team. They got they got Von Miller for an ungodly amount of freaking money. Okay. You're telling that guy's going to make a difference the next 2 years. My third seed in the AFC, I don't know. I'm kind of hung up. I think the Chargers might somehow sneak in this year.
So
I like what they've done to the team. I like the additions that they have done. But now let's look at the Raiders also. They're in the same division.
Can't overlook the Broncos.
Right. I mean,
and if they make it, that leaves you with one team it would probably be the Titans or the Colts, and then one from that tough AFC North.
Right. I mean, my God. I mean, there is a chance this year where you see all 4 teams in one division in the playoffs.
But then that would only one team of the Steelers, Browns, Bengals, and Ravens can make it, and that means the Dolphins also don't make it, and neither the Colts or the Titans don't make it.
Right.
How crazy is that?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I would not want to be a fan of a team in the AFC. I'm happy the Giants play because you take a look at the NFC. What's one team that you could say absolutely are making the playoffs? Tampa, the Rams. That's it.
Yeah. I
mean,
can remember back
Cowboys,
in the 90s, 80s, man, it was the Giants, it was the Cowboys, it was the Eagles, it was, the NFC was, the Rams were okay for a couple of years. The Cardinals really never did anything. They were in our division at one point in time, too. There was 5 teams actually in this division.
Yep.
And you look at like Seattle did a little bit of damage once in a while, but it was us, the NFC East, that always ran the NFL.
Game Time says the Giants will upgrade at the offensive line again to give Jones pieces, but we already know who he is. Rather go best available or get that QB, as they won't get a high pick in 23. They will probably be 5 to 8. If we're 5 to 8 in 23, I think that gives you the flexibility to move up and get that quarterback.
Yes.
The quarterback could possibly fall to pick like number 5. And there's no, there's no guarantees that Jones with a, put together offensive line is nothing. I mean, if he gives you, now a lot of people say, in order to keep him, he needs to be Josh Allen. That's not the case. I mean, he doesn't need to be a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the league. If he proves he's a top 10 or 12 guy, I think you franchise tag him and you see if he could do it again. And if he does it again, then you give him a second contract. I still think because, getting a quarterback right now, he's put into a poor situation, right? With an offensive line that unless you go quarterback O-line with 5 and 7, which then that would hurt your defense. But if you go quarterback and then a defensive player, that would not be very good because, you would put him in a tough spot with an offensive line that still has a ton of question marks.
Right. I mean, I'm looking for improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, numbers, man, let's go. Everyone seems to harp on that DJ has fumbles and he has bad play. And we're bringing it up all the time. Who's the guy responsible for the false start in the red zone? Who's the guy responsible for the holding penalty that calls back a touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy that's guilty on the wide receiver core that did the pick play wrong? We see all these other teams run a pick play, and they don't get
who
called
drops a pass? Who drops a pass that makes it turn into an interception? Evan Ingram a billion times.
Right. I mean, look at the tape, and the worst part is we still got Glennon and Fromm taste in our mouth because that's what we last saw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
well, up until Jones got injured, I mean,
people were crying for him to come back. Please, can he come back?
That too, but when he went down, Giants fans had a little bit of hope because we were going into Miami to play a Dolphins team that was nothing special.
Right.
And you win that game, you're all of a sudden you're 4-7. You're a game and a half out of the 7 spot. You had another game against the Eagles, who ultimately made the wild card. And if you win that game, you don't know what happens. If Jones doesn't go down, we're not a bye week for other teams the rest of the way.
Right.
Judge he absolutely keeps his job because we would probably end up winning
7 games. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's really interesting. Lamar will win his second MVP, carrying the Ravens, winning 2 MVPs in 5 years, joining Jim Brown back in the day, and the youngest with 2 MVPs. They have not a good job around him.
Not done a good job building around him, maybe.
Yeah. That's another weird situation. I don't know what they're waiting for to pay that guy, but he deserves his money. And if I'm Lamar, I'm not playing. I'm not taking a snap without that new contract because all it takes is one bad injury, and I mean that's hundreds of millions of dollars that could potentially be lost.
Right.
So I don't know what they're waiting for to pay him, but he deserves his money. As you know, I think Hutch is overrated. There are 4 edge prospects I would take him over him as upside prospects or players, especially at the top of the draft. I think he's. I don't know if he's over. I think he's overhyped. I don't know if he's overrated. He's going to be really good.
When I watch Aiden Hutchinson play, he's my number 1 edge. And the reason why I say that is not so much that he's overrated or that he's, overvalued, overtalked. When I watch him play, I watch a guy who's got a good motor, a solid foundation. He's got the strength. He's not fast. He's not as fast as the Bosa's, but he plays with anticipation. And he's what they call a 3-down defensive edge. He's good against the run and he's good against the pass. And his college markings, he was in the 90 grade, both in the pass and the run. So when you want somebody that's a 3-down edge that can get to the quarterback, but yet if they try to do a sweep, a draw, a screen, he reads that out. High IQ when it comes to football play. And then my second guy I've got is Karlaftis. He is also
at the edge rusher position.
Yes,
you would have Karlaftis over Walker and Thibodeau.
Yes, I do, and here's why: because Karlaftis, when you watch him on tape, he plays the RPO the best out of all 4. When you watch Karlaftis game tape, not highlight tape, game tape, he sets the edge. He makes the run come inside. He'll also make sure to move down the line, get on the inside, make the tackle, doesn't get caught up in the wash. Hutchinson and Karlaftis don't get caught up in the wash of the run game very easily. They're able to shed their blockers, hold and maintain position, read the play, and then follow the play. When I say Thibodeau, if you want a 3rd-down pass rusher specialist to get on the field, go after the quarterback, he's the number 1 prospect. When it comes to pass rushing, Thibodeau has all the skills that you want in a 3rd-down guy when it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and you've got to get back there. He's going to do it. But his problem is he needs to work on the run game a little bit, because if you watch some of his game tape, he gets caught up in the wash. He won't set the edge. He gets caught on the inside. he has a tendency of wanting to always go to the inside when it comes to a run play. It's almost like he's reading it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So he just needs a little bit more set and skill. And then why I don't like Walker right now is because all of his hype right now has come from the combine. When we saw Hutchinson, Karlaftis, and Thibodeau, that was all before the season started. Everyone was telling us to watch these guys. And now all of a sudden we see a little bit of film. We see a little bit of production in their underwear at the combine. Now, I'm not saying Walker's a bad prospect, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy and he's not going to ball out. He's going to be a baller.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at how the scenarios developed as to how I would rank them. And this is just my opinion. And I'm just giving reasons why I have my opinion. So Walker would be fourth for me right now based on all that.
Mm-hmm. Blue City Empire Sports, thank you so much for coming in here. I see you all the time in Joel, Pat, Lou's streams. You've been in mine a couple times. Let's just hope John Merritt learns his lesson and let the football experience do their job. I'm just happy that we have a general manager that keeps his promise, unlike Dave Gettleman.
Yes, Lyman.
Yeah, I think Blue City, I think John Merritt has learned his lesson. I think he knows how bad he screwed up. I think we're going in the right direction. I don't want to jump on, I don't want to say like, oh my God, and get, all happy like we did when Joe Judge had his press conference. But, I think we're headed in the right direction. We got a good head coach. We got a good GM. I think they understand what needs to be done here, and I think they're going to do what's right. Gang time. Actually, they're 5, 6, maybe 7, even his own teammate. I'm not sure.
Right.
Hutchinson. The Jones out of New York rumors were heating in December when their GM was let go after they both were looking like they would be on the team for 2022. Yeah, we knew the GM was going to be, gone. Jones isn't going anywhere. He's going to be the starter next for week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Walter Football thinks the Lions will take Drake. Yeah, no, don't. These guys have some of the worst mocks I've ever seen. I don't know what they're doing these for. How do they get paid? I mean, one guy had Trayvon Walker going first overall. I mean,
yeah,
that's ridiculous. And Ika Makwanu going 11 to the football team. If Ika Makwanu goes 11,
I'm going to scream.
I'm so sure that won't happen. I'm going to tell you right now, if he goes 11 overall, I may never watch football again. That's how sure I am he's not going 11. He's going
right.
He's going. He's not making it past 6 or 7 at the latest. At the very latest.
Right.
What about Jermaine Johnson?
Very underrated. Very underrated. I was watching that guy week 1 of college football, and I brought his name up, and I told a lot of people, you watch this kid. A little bit raw. Will need some work. Does have a good first step. Does have a high motor. Sometimes can get caught up in the wash. Not a lot, but it does happen. I would like to see Jermaine Johnson go to a team and have him brought in the way we brought in Roche and Ojulari last year. Wait till about week, get him some game time, 2 or 3, get a little film on him, give him a couple plays, and then bring him in slowly. I think if Jermaine, and Maji Sanders is another one of those guys too.
Yeah.
Maji Sanders and Jermaine Johnson, you let them, if you're going to draft them, you draft them. And you let them sit on the bench for a week or 2. Let them be on the field at game time. Let them learn what the speed is of the NFL game. Let them watch some of these plays in real time. Go back and look at the tablets and everything as the defense is going on and get coached up and say, okay, you saw this adjustment, you saw the line. How would you defend against it? Let him go in there prepared. I think Jermaine Johnson would crush it in Maji Sanders. I think both of them would crush it in the NFL. But they're going to have to be brought in slow and developed, because if you look at how Ojulari and Roche were brought in, that was a perfect way of bringing in a couple of rookies.
Yeah, I really like Roche. And I had Chris, the Entertainer Talking Sports. I had him on my channel about a year ago this time. And throughout that stream, we talked about how Quincy Roche at Miami had two of the top edge rushers in the class in Rousseau and Jalen Phillips, and that he was simply overlooked. And I would have been fine with him in the 3rd or 4th round. He made it to the 6th round of the Steelers.
Right.
He didn't even get a chance there. When I heard we picked him up, I was over the moon.
Me too.
I really, and then I think he did a terrific job in his first season. You're talking about a guy that he just stepped into a bad situation and he was able to produce. He had that huge sack against the Raiders.
Yes.
That's a playoff team right there. He had a huge sack against them that won us that football game. I think he had a fantastic year, and I really, really like him.
And he plays inside and out. He'll play defensive tackle or edge.
Yep. Gang Time says the Atlanta Falcons will move up for Malik Willis. It's like it's 2001. They did for Vic, of course. They traded LaDainian, but Vic was that good. Probably should won MVP in 04 at 1. Yeah, I mean, I could see Atlanta moving up for Malik Willis. Hopefully they move up to number 5, and we can get some draft capital. Al Smith says, let's do some mock drafts. You up for that?
I could do one. I got enough time for one.
All right. You want to do a Giants mock draft or NFL as a whole?
Don't matter to me. Okay, what do the fans want?
Let's see what they want. Do you guys want to do an NFL wide mock draft or a Giants specific mock draft?
The first 32 picks, or do you want to do just the Giants? Al wants the NFL.
Al wants the NFL. How high would you draft? Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a second because it looks like we're going to be doing an NFL mock draft. Which one do you guys normally use? These are all weird Panther Central NFL.
Whatever one you're comfortable with.
Well, they're all weird because the boards are just all over the place. Like a guy might have 10th overall, I might have to scroll all the way to 60 to find them.
Right.
So, I mean, we'll use the because I guess we'll do it with trades.
What was the one we used? Pro Football Network, I think. Then that's the one that.
Yeah, Pro Football. That's the one I was just thinking of doing right now.
It's the one everyone seems to use.
Yeah.
You want trades in this? With or without trades, guys?
Whatever you guys want.
Right. Trades.
Okay, we'll do trades. I just got to share it. Yeah, make it interesting. Yeah, I would make it interesting. All right. Right here. This tab. Perfect. You guys see it?
Yep.
All right. I think number 1, I think this one's pretty obvious. I would say Hutchinson. What do you think?
Oh my God, I don't see him going any other way.
The only way I see them not taking Hutchinson, like it won't, if they don't take him, it won't be for another edge rusher. There's absolutely not. The only way it'll either be for Neal or Ekwonu, which I would never rule out, but I would at this point in time, if I had to do a mock today and put on the channel, I'd have it. I'd have Aiden Hutchinson number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be either him or the offensive lineman.
Yeah. So I think Hutchinson is the guy. So we'll put him in there at number 1. Aiden Hutchinson, edge out of Michigan. This is where it gets interesting. Right away.
Yes.
Right away, it gets interesting. I know last year we knew what 1 and 2 was going to be. There was just a question mark at number 3, but I knew it wouldn't be Mac Jones.
Right.
I had a feeling it would be Lance, but this is where it all starts, in my opinion. I have no idea. Like now with the Malik Willis talk, it just gets tough. It just gets tough.
Is there a trade here?
That's the other thing. And the other thing you have to think about is for the Lions, they got this pick right here, number 32.
Yes.
So that could be a possible spot where they decide to go quarterback, because there will still be options there. You could possibly get a Desmond Ridder there. You can get a Sam Howell there. You can get a Matt Corral there. There's a ton of options. And for them, I mean, when you look at a guy like Kayvon, they won't be going O-line. We know how good they got a good O-line. They've got a good foundation there.
Yeah,
So,
they franchise tagged one guy. So
for me, it's Kayvon Thibodeau or Kyle Hamilton. For me, that's I think what they do there.
man, I tell you what, I can't get rid of the fact that it's Malik Willis right here. The way the rumors are coming out.
All right. So
is there anything to these rumors though? That's the question.
Well, that's the thing. It's always smoke screens. Like
yes,
2 days before the draft, Giants fans said, "Oh, Kwity Paye's uncle had a Giants shirt on at the airport. We're getting Kwity Paye, but we didn't get Kwity Paye." Like, who knows? Gang Time wants to go Malik Willis. He's been calling it for the past from my last stream. Let's do it. Let's go with Malik Willis.
Okay. All right.
Malik Willis.
There. We'll probably be the first people to do that in a mock draft.
Yep. Quarterback out of Liberty. Gang Time. That was your pick right there. And then for the Texans, I think this one is in my opinion, I think this one's going to be Evan Neal. What do you think?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to look at, they just restructured Laramie Tunsil's contract, so he's not going to be the highest paid tackle in the NFL. They got an okay line, but if they're going to run with their quarterback that they got in the fourth, if they don't go quarterback here, could you see them going Garrett Wilson right here?
I can't see them going Garrett Wilson here. If they were to want to go Garrett Wilson here,
they got 13.
They got 13 from the Deshaun Watson trade. So that's where I think I'm going to have them going receiver there. Actually, do they have another pick? They might. No, they don't.
No, just the two. See, the draft board's changed around. I mean, I haven't caught up to it. So learning where all these picks and trades went.
Probably going to change again at some point. I mean, knowing the way this league's been going, tomorrow Mike Evans might want out of Tampa. Who the hell knows?
Well, let's not forget who the GM for the Texans is.
Yep.
Is he going to trade here?
Yeah, I think they stay here because it sounds like they're going to try and build around based off what I'm hearing, they want to build around Davis Mills.
Mills, that's his name. Thank you.
For a 4th-round pick, he had a fantastic rookie season. Considering the situation he was in, he was good. He was good.
They want to build around him. The defense wasn't that great. They got a pick at 30. So if you think 13's wide receiver, would they reach on linebacker?
I don't think so. I think
they're just bringing up questions.
I think a trade back here, I think is possible. Let's take a look at their needs. They need an edge. That's their biggest need.
Corner.
And then a corner receiver. They have a lot of options because they could go edge. They could go edge here, and then they could go at 13. They could go with a corner or a receiver. They have so many open options, and offensive line isn't even in their top 5 needs. I think you could rule out quarterback though, just because of the fact that all the rumor. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to.
Man, according to that, I see Thibodeau then. Thibodeau goes here. If you want realistic draft, that's what they should do right here.
All right, let's do it. I think that's very possible. And then here the Jets is, oh man, this is just so tough. I don't know. I think the Jets are going corner. I just don't know.
I do too, because of all that firepower in the AFC. Now you've got to have a shutdown corner.
But I don't know how Neal and Ekwonu gets to 5. I don't know how.
I know they want to trade it, but my God, you've got it. The Jets' weakest part on that defense is their secondary. They got another pick coming up.
Yeah, I think with their next pick, they're going receiver here.
Unless the lineman falls, it's all going to depend on how we judge this draft.
Yeah, I think they're going Sauce.
Man, listen, Kyle
I would,
Hamilton in one of our drafts all the
uh-huh.
way down to 19.
That's
Karlaftis went at 44.
yeah. It's tough. I mean,
Crazy.
I I would love Sauce Gardner on the Giants. I
I
would
would
love,
too.
and him and Stingley for me, those are two I really like the both of them. I've liked Stingley for a year and a half now. I've
Right.
really liked Stingley. Um, I don't know. I think they go Sauce here. I really do.
Yes.
I think they're going Sauce Gardner, the corner from Cincinnati. The Giants are Joe Shane was at his pro day. If he gets to 7, I think the Giants take him. I don't think he gets to 7. I really don't. And then here for the Giants, I don't think there's any question that it's either Evan Neal or Ekwonu.
And I think they like Ekwonu better. I really do.
Um,
But now look, I mean, the Giants staff was working with Cross. So is this the trade? Because look, you've only got one team left. All right. You got the Panthers. You have Neal, you have Ekwonu, and you have Cross.
I think they're looking at Cross because they feel that both of the top 2 tackles won't be there. That's why I think they're looking at Cross.
But in this scenario, you would be the smarter to trade the 5th pick.
Yeah. Makes too much sense not to, because
You got a lineman at 7.
if I'm a Giants fan, whether you get Evan Neal or you get Ekwonu, I don't care who they get. Those are 2 big men. They're going to step in and they're going to block the shit out of anybody.
Right. And you're going to have either or. So right now, who do you see coming up for Pickett?
Okay, let's see. The Falcons.
The Seahawks could.
I think the Seahawks roll it out with Drew Lock for 1 season.
I don't know how they can. I'm sorry.
I don't know how they can either, but just looking at what the and that's another team we left out of who might be in on a quarterback next year. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's 9 teams. But yeah, I think if you're a team looking for a quarterback and you have some sort of a stopgap, I don't know how you look at this quarterback class and say, I need to take one. I think when you look at the quarterbacks next year and you're the Seahawks, I mean, I think they wait. I really do. I think they wait.
People want Pittsburgh to give us a call right now.
Yeah, now that they got Trubisky, I can't see it. I think the Falcons is the most likely. Maybe a lot of people rule out the fact that the Panthers could trade up to 5 to block the Falcons from possibly getting to 5. Now that the Falcons got rid of Matt Ryan. Before Kirk Cousins signed that extension, I would have told you that the Vikings would be in on a quarterback. Same thing goes for the Washington football team or the Commanders. Now that they have Wentz, though, and that the fact that they're in our division, I don't think we would trade with them anyway. So I think that's ruled out. The Vikings are ruled out now. For me, it's down to 6 or 8. Obviously the Steelers, but
the Saints might be in that market.
Yeah.
God only knows what these GMs are thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, the fortune we would get to trade down to 18 right here, and then the quality of player, we could go linebacker. Linderbaum might be there. Wide receiver might be there.
Yeah. Stingley could be there.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting here at 5 and I have to make this pick, I'm taking Ike Ekwonu.
Yeah. So you wouldn't trade back.
Well, I would, but trying to propose trades with on stuff like this is kind of hard to do.
I think if the Giants are in this spot, I think one of the Falcons or Panthers move up because they're both going to be scared of each other getting a quarterback.
They might.
So I'm gonna have a trade.
Okay.
The Giants with the Falcons, and let's just feel it out and see what could put that. So it's 5 and 8. Would we get a future first by moving up 3 spots? There's this point system that GMs go by. I can't find it, but it seems legitimate. Would we get a future first with this trade? I don't think so.
Not in this mock, we wouldn't, but in realism, yes, I would ask for a first.
All right, so
I would ask for their first next year and then pick 114.
Okay, well, I don't think it'll go through, but
I don't either.
Oh, wow.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, that went through.
So the Giants are picking back. This is as good a situation you could have asked for, because you take a look now, they're going to go O-line the Panthers. They're going to go, so you're going to have the top two offensive tackles sitting you in the face.
Yep.
So I think here they go
Because
pick it. They go pick it here because they wouldn't have traded up,
yes,
not go
I think
quarterback.
Pickett.
So they take Pickett there, the Falcons. And then here it's between Aquanu and Neal. And your guess is as good as mine. I don't know who goes where.
Well, Neal being the higher prospect, do you think they go with Neal at number 2 compared to IKM Ekwonu at 6? I mean, I've seen stranger things. I mean, my God, they might even go Charles Cross here because they like him better.
Yeah. I am going to say Neal, though.
Okay.
I'm going to say Neal, and then we're not going to hesitate. Aquanu's going to the Giants. And now the Giants have a ton of options. I think they go Hamilton here just because, I mean, it could be Hamilton. It could be Walker. They could go Linderbaum. They could go Stingley. It's just so tough.
I'll tell you what, Jordan Davis at 9 might be in the play here for Wink Martindale because they just signed a lineman.
At 8.
The Giants just signed Big Jelly?
Yeah.
They're looking for defensive line studs, and if we did do that, could maybe Dexter Lawrence is on the trade market for later round pick.
I think we should extend him on the 5th year. You take a look at the money Austin Johnson got. It's only $10 million to extend him next year.
Right. I think that's passed though, hasn't it?
No, it's May 2nd.
Okay.
Right after the draft. And I think for $10 million, I think there still might be teams that would want to trade for Dexter Lawrence for $10 million. Possibly. I think here in this scenario, I think the Giants trade Bradbury. I just can't see a way.
Yeah, that's supposed to be coming out too. Kansas City's supposed to be the hot team.
Yeah. I can't see how we don't trade him just because I don't know how we would find cap for these draft picks. So,
well, who do you think Shane would value the most here?
Because
this is the hard part.
Because of the way the Bills and the Ravens have been built by the secondary, for me, it's got to be either Stingley or it's got to be Hamilton. I think they go secondary.
Oh, man. I don't know because, I mean, the way that this trade scenario worked out, I mean, Garrett Wilson's looking really good in my book.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm open to Hamilton, too. I'm open to Davis.
We take a receiver top 10 just because we spent a first-round pick last year. We spent $72 million.
I'm fine with Cross and Ekwonu. I'm not going to lie. I'm fine with everybody that's on this board right now.
I'd be fine with anybody we're looking at. I'd be fine with Stingley.
Yes.
I'd be fine with Devin Lowe. I mean, we're not even thinking about the linebackers.
Right.
Which I think is very much in play. I like Nakobe Dean better than Devin Lloyd personally.
Right. Some do.
I have to think that we're not going to just walk out of this draft without a good corner. I think we end up with Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley because you have to fill the void for.
Yes, you do. I mean, if you can see Hamilton here, take Hamilton.
But that I could see Hamilton, but I think Stingley is just because he's a corner. I think we go Stingley. And I don't know if Giants fans would love that. I don't know. I would be more than okay with that. I don't know if you would.
Hey,
like
that's how you think this shakes out. Like I said, I'm good with any move you make right here.
Like if we walk out of the draft with Ekwonu and Stingley, I'm over the moon.
Right.
So I'm gonna go Stingley.
Fitzwink's scheme.
Yep. And then here the Seahawks could go a ton of ways. I think they go Cross.
Yeah, they definitely need line help, especially with Locke up there now. They're going to have to do something.
And they were in on the Trent Brown mix, but they didn't end up with him. And so they're obviously going in the direction of building up that O-line so that when they take a quarterback next year, he's in a good situation. I think they go Cross here.
Yep.
And then right Jets, here,
Wilson,
yeah, the receiver they think is the best. Here, this is tough. I mean, how do we have Hamilton on the board? This is just such a deep class.
And the thing is I see, Ron Rivera taking Jordan Davis here because they were trying to trade Montez Sweat.
You think they could go that way? I think it's either Hamilton or Davis. That's
right. It's one of them too. It's going to be a defensive guy.
Yeah, and because if you take a look at their biggest needs, because the safety's higher.
Okay.
I think Hamilton. I'm going to go Hamilton. Because then I just can't see a scenario he gets too far back. And if you look back here, I mean, look at the Vikings. They could go there, but I think they go Jordan Davis here because the defensive tackle spot is their second.
Yes, they've lost a lot of their defensive line.
Right. Yeah, so they go Jordan Davis here, and then with Texans up, they went edge last pick.
You know what? A weapon for their quarterback, James Williams. They don't have anybody.
Do you think Williams, even after the injury, goes this high?
Man, I'm looking at that GM and the chances he takes. I just look at all the chances he took on some of them players up in New England. You could say that was Belichick or whatever, but
okay, so let's do it.
I mean, it's either him or Olave, but I think they would take a chance on Williams.
All right. The Ravens. This is interesting because we don't know what their defense is going to look like without Wink Martindale. I think they could go a whole bunch of ways here. I think they could go. They could go a ton of ways.
I'll think they go Tyler Linderbaum here. They lost their center.
Yep. All right, Linderbaum works there. I think the
Ravens are going to snag him right in front of the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think the Eagles go edge anymore because they spent so much money on it before, and then that's the other thing I wanted to quickly talk about. Well, we'll get to it later. Ojabo, I want to talk about him very briefly after this draft because
David Ojabo, yeah.
God knows what's going to happen with him. I would absolutely take him in the second round.
Yes.
I wouldn't even think about it. If he's sitting on your lap in the second round, I would run up to the stage and take him. Because,
I would too.
I mean, his ceiling is so high. But who knows if he even gets there? And I think something that people really overlook is the Giants. The possibility of us moving. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but us moving in front of the Titans and in front of the Buccaneers and getting around here,
right?
With the Bills pick,
right,
and taking a guard because the Titans and the Bucs are going to be in the market for a guard, and you could have Zion Johnson and you could have Kenyon Green. Both those two guys. I think if it doesn't cost a lot, which according to that point system, it would cost like 36 and 81 to move up to 25. And if I'm the Giants, I'm doing that because it's essentially you trading Bradbury to move up and get a guard, right?
Right.
You're probably going to get a third or fourth for Bradbury, so I think that makes sense.
Right.
But back to the Eagles, I think they go with one of these picks. I think they go linebacker. I think they go receiver. And then I don't know what they do with the other one. So here, I think they would go.
I think they're going to go like Zion Johnson, Chris Olave right here, or it might, I could say, man, because they got that 19th pick also.
Yeah, but guard's not even in the top 5 needs, which is weird.
I know, but they have a tendency of doing that. You know what I mean? They're always building on that line.
I see Super Taj in here. Thank you so much for joining. He says,
Taj, what's good?
But
I mean,
because they have back-to-back picks, if it's up to 2 guys for you, just take them both. Doesn't matter the order.
Yeah, I'd say Olave and Lloyd. I think wide receiver, linebacker, right there. I think those two are.
I think that makes a ton of sense. And then the Chargers here. This is interesting. I think they could go edge.
Oh my God, they just got what's his name though, Khalil Mack, and then you got Bosa on the other side.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Yes,
AFC is something else.
Yes.
If Jordan Davis falls here, they're taking him, but I don't think he gets here. I mean, I guess they could go guard.
Zion then? Or
I guess
Penning?
if you go Zion. Do you like Green instead of Zion? Who do you think
I
is
like
better?
Zion Johnson.
I agree.
I
Let's go
like,
Zion Johnson. They help out Herbert.
yes,
The Saints,
the Saints need so much.
yeah, they do. I don't even know. Their top 5 needs really are kind of out of play here, unless they want to go Corral, or Drake London. I don't think
What, they
they.
need offensive tackle. Is that what that says?
Yeah, offensive tackle,
Trevor
quarterback.
Penning?
They could.
Trevor
Another
Penning,
thing,
or do you
Sean
go with
Payton's
wide
not making
receiver
this
because
pick,
what's his
right?
name has been out
It's
for 2 years?
yeah, but they lost Teron Armstead. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's just weird because they have a defensive head coach now for a
Right.
year. So, but I think they go Penning just because they lost Armstead. They've
Yep.
got injuries on that line. I think that makes sense. Trevor Penning.
And then you're
Back
back
to
to
the
the Eagles.
Eagles. This could go a bunch of ways. I think they could go with a piece to the secondary because they need some serious help back there. They could go Kyrie Lamb. They could go Andrew Booth Jr. If Stingley gets here, they could go that route if he gets to 15 or 16. Where would you lean here? I would have said edge.
I would say Daxon Hill, a safety, would be a really good move for them. That secondary is so weak, but
Yep. All right, let's do it. But if you asked me a week ago, I would say Walker. Or
I would have. Yeah, I would have too. But they just gave what's his name a
Hassan
2-year
Reddick.
extension.
And they got Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
So that's what they do there. Steelers, I think here they could go edge and put someone on the other side of TJ Watt. They could go
Matt Corral.
You think they go quarterback?
I don't. I think that Trubisky's a 2-year deal. They're going to take one of these quarterbacks.
And what if Trubisky goes back to the form he was with the Bears, with that playoff season?
It's a risk, but
I'll tell you what, they're in a good spot because they have a situation where if you're bringing in a rookie quarterback to sit behind Mitch Trubisky, that's a good guy to sit behind.
It is. That's what I'm thinking.
If Trubisky performs, you keep him, and you could do whatever the hell you want with that rookie quarterback. You could trade
for 3
him.
years.
Yeah, you have a lot of options, so it makes sense to do that. And if you think so, I just
it's a draft nobody's done yet. I mean, and it does make sense right now the way that this free agency is gone. That's the big picture I'm seeing.
I just don't know how Nakobe Dean gets this deep. I mean,
I don't either because if you're asking me, I see Drake London going right here to the Patriots.
Yep, I agree. They need to help out Mac Jones.
They don't have anybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think they go Drake London.
And now you're looking at Green Bay. My God, I'm going to take like Trayvon Walker or Karlaftis. Well, I mean, they need a receiver, but
yeah, they have another pick later on though, and I think Walker or Karlaftis probably won't be there. There will be a receiver later on.
Right.
Take a look at their depth chart. They need an edge. I would say.
Yeah, that's what I say. If I take one of them too.
They also need a linebacker, but I'm going to go Walker.
They'd be stupid not to take Walker right there.
Yeah. And then the Cardinals, I think they go with a corner. I've been saying a Lamb for a while. I could see Booth Jr.
Right.
I've got no idea. I'm going to say Lamb just to go with what I've been going with for months.
Because they lost a few guys in their secondary.
Yeah. So I'm going to say him there. I mean, this is weird for the Cowboys because if I'm a Cowboys fan, I would not want them to pass up on Nakobe Dean. I just think they have such a big – they need to fix the offensive line. And
yes.
I think Kenyon Green, I think he's a perfect guy to help fix that. So I think that's where they go there. And I think if Dallas did not go with Kenyon Green with this pick, I think the Giants would actually trade up to 25. But with a guard not being here, I think the Giants stay where they are in the second round. But here with the Bills, they could go a whole bunch of ways here. They lost Cole Beasley, so they could go with a receiver. They could go with a corner because that's a big need there. an edge. I think they go Karlaftis.
Well, they're looking at a really high-priced linebacker next year. So I think if the Bills take Nakobe Dean,
in free agency, you're saying?
well, they got the linebacker. They're going to be bumping up against the cap a little bit, and their linebacker is going to be like a $15-18 million hit. If they
Edmonds.
could get
Yeah.
Trey Edmonds, is that his name?
I believe so.
Well, if they got Nakobe Dean this year and then let him walk next year,
that would be sorry. Right.
That would be a smart move for the Bills. It's building that defense, man.
Because now you got organization.
That's a Bills move. What they've been doing lately.
So you're not saying they're going to spend big on a linebacker next year. You're saying that they
because you got Von Miller's contract next year too. Yeah. So you've got to lessen that cap. How do you lessen that cap and retain star players?
Yeah,
you draft Nakobe Dean.
So you think they won't be able to spend money on a linebacker, so they should draft one? That makes sense.
Yes, I think they're going to have to lower their cap somehow. Would you replace Tremaine Edmonds with Nakobe Dean?
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Exactly. So that's just a smart business move by the Bills in that front office. I mean, that's a win-win. I think the fan base would go nuts over that.
Yeah, and I don't think Nakobe Dean gets past the Titans because I think they would scoop him up right here.
Yeah, because I think that they're going to grab a linebacker here too.
Well, I don't know if they do anymore. I think right here they will go Karlaftis. Karlaftis has fallen in this draft, in this mock. And you take a look at the next best linebacker.
He is down there.
It would probably be Chad Muma or Christian.
Yeah, it is Muma. Wow, it's way down there. But
this is actually an updated board.
I see that.
Yeah, because they got Ojabo back here. Listen, if Ojabo gets there, my goodness, don't even think twice, Giants. Just take him.
Well, we were saying how bad the Titans' defense was going to be last year, and they surprised the shit out of everybody.
Yep.
They really surprised.
Yep.
But I still think that defense would be the weak point, even though they let go, what's his name, the wide receiver. I mean, it could be edge or quarterback here.
Yeah. But they got Robert Williams, so
that's true.
They won't go receiver here.
So edge or corner to help that safety.
I think they go Karlaftis here. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's fallen in this mock draft. I think he's a very good prospect. Like you said, you think he's the second best edge rusher in the class. So let's do it.
Right.
And then now with the Tampa Bay Bucks, they could go a bunch of ways. They've lost a lot of their offensive line. They could go that route. They could go they won't go running back. They just re-signed Fournette. I don't know how offensive guard is fifth on their depth chart. I think people are really I think they could possibly trade back. I think that's a big possibility. If you look at a team, well, we can't see right now, but what's the team early in the second round? Well, I would have said Detroit. Or maybe Carolina potentially moves up to here, and they go quarterback like a Desmond Ridder or Sam.
I was just going to say, who better than to sit behind for a rookie quarterback than Tom Brady for a year? If the Bucks took Sam Howell right here and let him grow for a year,
yeah. Or I think it's either that or a trade with the Panthers. But I think just like you said, it would be too smart.
You got a guy who can sit behind Tom Brady for a year and pick his brain?
Yeah.
Now, here's where you go with Traylon Burks.
Yeah, absolutely. And then here they need a wide receiver. I think they draft one. But the next
they don't have Honey Badger anymore. But they're looking at the Giants for a corner, but they do need a safety.
Well, who's Honey Badger?
Tyrann Mathieu.
He hasn't. Where's he going to end up? He's not going to go back there, I don't think.
I don't think so either. He's looking for money. So he's 31. He's looking for a bag.
Long time. And then if you take a look at even right here with Cal Hamilton, our pick there, if they get signed Tyrann Mathieu, they don't get him there. So it's just tough. And I think Washington's been rumored in on Tyrann Mathieu.
But right now, the way this is coming right now, they need a safety. So that'd be Lewis Sign.
Yeah, I think they do that here, and then I think they go receiver here. Whether that's Jahan Dodson's another option.
Oh, Dodson would be a perfect fit to replace Tyreek Hill.
There you
That
go.
guy's been getting amped up in the draft.
So they would have a wide receiver core would be not too shabby. They'd have Dehan Dotson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and McCole Hardman. And then they'd have the best tight end in all of football, a very good running back, the best quarterback in the league. That's a pretty good situation for that team. And they got a very good O-line. They built that up tremendously last offseason. They spent picks on Orlando Brown that worked out. They spent on Creed Humphrey that draft.
Yes,
very good decision.
I think here goes Andrew Booth, because I think that they only gave Eli Apple a 1 year, not thinking Booth would be here. But if he's there,
and I think they could go McDuffie as well.
Yes, either or.
Before free agency, I would have said O-line, but they spent so much on that line. I don't think they do that. I think they go Booth here.
Yep.
And then to close it out, I think because the Lions didn't go edge, I think they go edge now.
Jermaine Johnson.
Yep.
I like that draft.
So that's a pretty good draft. It's number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Aiden Hutchinson, edge out of Michigan. Number 2 to the Detroit Lions, Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty. Number 3, the Houston Texans take Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon, the edge. Ahmad Sauce Gardner to the Jets at 4 overall, the corner out of Cincinnati. The Giants traded with the Falcons for a 4th-round pick this year, a 1st-round pick in 23. They select Kenny Pickett, the quarterback out of Pittsburgh. Evan Neal 6, Ekwonu 7, Derek Stingley Jr. 8, Charles Cross 9, Garrett Wilson 10, 11 Kyle Hamilton, 12 Jordan Davis, 13 Jameson Williams, Tyler Linderbaum number 14 to the Ravens, Chris Olave 15, 16, Devin Lloyd 17, Zion Johnson 18, Trevor Penning 19, Daxton Hill 20, Matt Corral 21, Drake London 22, Trayvon Walker 23, Kyra Lamb 24, Kenyon Green 25, Nakobe Dean 26 to the Titans, George Karlaftis. For the Bucs, they're going to get Sam Howell 27 to sit behind Brady for a year. Joel really likes that. I think it makes too much sense not to do. 28, Traylon Burks. I also think for the Bucs they could trade back, but that makes sense.
Yes, they do. Yes, they could.
They could trade back because you could still get a guy like Desmond Ridder or even Howell in the second round. Maybe if there's a guard that the Giants want to trade up and get, that could be a possibility. But 28 to the Packers, Traylon Burks. 29, Lewis Seen to the Chiefs. 30, Jahan Dotson with those back-to-back picks. 31, Andrew Booth Jr. And to close it out, number 32, Jermaine Johnson. That was a great mock.
That really could happen.
I really do believe that can I think that could happen. That was a very, very good mock. And yes. I really appreciate you for coming on. I had a great time over the past hour.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
No
hopefully
problem.
we can do this again before the draft and even beyond that. It's
sure.
I would really enjoy that. And any viewers in here that have not seen his channel, Classified 3F with Joel, you got to check him out. He's been on YouTube for between 6 months and a year, I believe.
Yeah, about 8 months, 9 months, somewhere in there.
And he's already climbing up the subscriber count. He does tons of streams with Big Pat Sports Talk, Lou from G Nation. So check him out.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, no problem. But I'm going to close this one out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Had a great time doing this. If you guys are new, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Joel. Hit the thumbs up button.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys all in the next stream. Thank you so much. See you guys later.
Have a great day, folks.